Let's take a look at how we can use SpaceClaim to quickly create a model on the fly, as well as reuse imported geometry from other CAD systems. With SpaceClaim's simple to use user interface, as well as powerful commands, I can make 3D geometry faster than ever. Let's create a simple circle. This represents a sketch region where we can create or remove geometry. SpaceClaim has a predictive nature where clicking on an edge, it knows most of the time you want to create a round, and it does that on the fly. You can also reuse edges and copy them, so you no longer have to create complicated sketches with detailed dimensions. And those edges, now I can use those to click on other sketch regions and create rounds or other extrusions on the fly. Now let's take a look at a step model that we've imported, and we want to use this as a basis for creating a new connector. The same commands you saw me using earlier, namely pulling on surfaces and changing them, I can use on imported geometry as well. Watch as I click on those faces and change the value of them on the fly. Using SpaceClaim's Power Select tool, I can search for geometry that's similar in size and change those dimensions on the fly as well. Now I've increased the diameter of all the holes on this model. Now it's time to break up this model into separate sections. I can use its own geometry as a basis for where to cut this part. Now I have two separate solids to work with, and I can treat them independently and move one away from the other without consequence. And it doesn't matter how this model was created. Now I'll bring in a second connector because we want to use aspects of this connector and integrate them into the red one on the screen. Using the Move tool, moving this connector in place and the correct orientation is a piece of cake. I can click on the green direction and say let's move this body to the top of the red one. And finally we'll say let's move it in the blue direction, now to the edge of the red one. And I have the model where I want. Now there's aspects of that model, of this solid body that I've imported that I don't want anymore. So we'll go through and delete them. Now it doesn't matter the history or how this model was created. All I need to do in SpaceClaim is click on the faces I don't want, and using the Fill command, those faces are instantly deleted and replaced with nearby geometry. Now I have that model looking close to where I want. Let's grab that other solid body that I separated earlier and move that into position. Again, I can say let's move this in the red direction. We'll say move it up to the green part, and those three solid bodies are in place. The last thing we want to do is replace this latch connector in the green part with the geometry I just created earlier. Again, to delete that I can just fill it in and it's replaced with the nearby geometry. Let's go back to the original design I just created. Now a powerful way to reuse geometry in SpaceClaim is to use the copy and paste buttons you're familiar with in the Windows environment. By selecting this entire body, I can copy this to the clipboard, and now I can paste this newly created latch into my connector. Now I have four separate solid bodies, and with SpaceClaim's Combine tool, I can easily join these bodies together into one. And now the model I've created from imported geometry and newly created solid bodies has become one. Thank you for watching.